Jacory Barnett, thank you so much for joining me today on the Engo podcast. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
I we've known each other for a while. For people who don't know, I've known this individual, this person, this man for quite a few years now. Stand-up guy, um, and he is thus far the only of my, or I should say you are thus far the only of my non-reader friends, like anybody in the dance scene or anybody just who I haven't met through like making book content, whose recommendations I've actually read.
Yeah,
When I mean,
I saw the post. I was so happy.
right, right. So, which we can get to that later. But I did want to start off this conversation since it is the beginning of 2026. This is actually the second. This will be the second video of 2026, and not the first one, but the second video of 2026. So I like to start off the year, kind of talking about goals, talking about what our thoughts are for the year. Because I think if we start the year off with positive energy, the year can only be at that bad. But if you start off the year saying this year's gonna be absolutely dog shit, well, the year might be absolutely dog shit. So posing that question to you, do you have any like goals for the year, things you're looking to do this year, kind of looking out into the rest of 2026? Like, what are you hoping to accomplish?
For 2026, I'm hoping to accomplish, you know, evolving my creativity and then diving deeper into the things that I love. Because I know in 2025 and halfway through 2024, I like fell off a little bit in terms of, being around in the dance scene or even just being around in general. Um, and I was like falling off from like my creative passions, whether it be photography, videography, like art, stuff like that. Like I was just I'm not gonna like sit here and be like it was a depressing time, but like, life is just throwing stuff around. So it's
Mhm,
been clearing up a lot. And, the little Corey inside my head is like, yeah, man, it's time, get back in the gym, start dancing more, and I made the decision of focusing more towards videography and photography. And for this year, goal specific, I want to start content creation.
mhm.
Yeah, with like photography and stuff like that. So
Interesting. I want. Okay, I have a lot of things to ask. I love this. Thank you for giving me a long-winded answer. I appreciate this. I can eat
that.
on this. um, well, first things first. Do you feel like other people around you also were going through depressive episodes in the 2024-2025 span? Because 2024 was a very bad depressive episode for me. I think we may have talked about it towards 2024 when I was trying to get back in. And the 2025 like really helped me like pull me out of that. But like 2024 felt rough. But I don't know if it was I was like me and my life thing or more people were going through things like this.
Honestly, I think it was just in the air for like a lot of people. Like I know, Siler, people like that. Like the economy and everything was not doing so well. Jobs
Still very
were
bad. Yes,
still very bad, yeah.
that's true.
And the job market was dwindling. It
Still is.
was still is. It was and still is like a very tough time for people. But that's why I say like I'm wanting to dive deep into the things that I love because I came to the realization that, going especially as an adult, like a young adult, I'm not
Mhm,
like, a full-fledged adult. But as a young adult and um, listening and hearing all these things, I'm realizing that the reason we have art, the reason we have passions is to kind of wean us off from the deep end, like give us
mhm,
something to live for besides just work.
mhm.
Because if I just wake up and just go to work and come back home, it's a pretty depressing time. I
Yeah.
don't have much of anything to like do, and I'm pretty
Yeah.
sure like a lot of people were starting to realize that during that time. Um, yeah, because it was just work and trying to have and make as much money as you can. Things prices were raising, still raising at that time too. So like, yeah, it was fully all in the air for people. So
Hmm.
not just me.
Interesting. I I feel like over the past couple of years, and I guess talking to you as a young man, us as young men, in the past couple of years, there's been this like shift on men's mental health, not to detract from women's mental health, but also just trying to take the spotlight and put it on both, where like the spotlight was trying to go on one or the other. We're saying, hey, let's look at both pieces of mental health. But I feel like just in the past few years, there's been a lot of focus on men going to therapy, men trying to process their emotions, trying to counteract the aggressive uh, hustle culture that had been fed to us previously for like a decade almost.
Yeah.
Did you ever fall like, did you ever fall prey to hustle culture like influence? Because I'm gonna be real. Before you even answer that, I'm gonna just put it out there. I did. It's still a little bit in my head of like, find something to hustle on, find something to hustle on constantly.
hmm
Um, but how did that ever affect you?
Um, I think a little bit, honestly, a little bit. I feel like it's deep into societal views that like men have to hustle or like men have to get up and grind every second of the day. Um, I'd say it affected me a lot younger because like my grandpa, shout out to him. He's a stand up guy. He's an amazing person, and I look up to him a lot. But I see like realizing now and like through the awareness being spread upon mental health, and like men's mental health. I'm seeing like how it's affected him, and then you kind of get that like third perspective of like, oh wow, like I'm seeing kind of like how this is affecting you and how it would
Mhm,
have affected me if
mhm.
men's health wasn't being so apparent now. You
Yeah,
know, it affected me in the sense of like, my mom, stepdad,
mhm,
grandpa, mainly a lot of like the men figures in my family were always telling us like, yeah, you gotta get a job, and if you get a job, you gotta do this, you gotta do that, you
mhm.
gotta do this, and constantly hammering it down into our heads.
Right.
And I think they've softened up a little bit, a lot of it actually.
Yeah.
They softened up after seeing that like a person without a degree now doesn't can make like six figures.
Mhm. You
you
know,
know?
I do love that you say that. One of the things that when I was talking to my wife about future kids and, us being in a place where we could fortunately now or when the kid is born, because right now we're saving to have a kid and then we're gonna have to save for the kid's education. But I
Yeah.
was like, I
Before
wanna
you before you
but
continue, I'm gonna put a pin on that because I
okay,
have something to say about that.
okay, great.
Continue
Um,
though. Continue.
the one of the things I had said was, I feel like I don't want to push my kid into having a world-class degree if they don't want one. What I feel like I wanna do is set up a fund for them,
Yeah.
and that fund grows over how many every years. They get access to it when they turn 18, or 19, whenever, and that fund is either used to fund their college or a business or some other thing that they want to invest their time in.
Yeah.
Or if they wanna take it and start investing in trading, they can do that too, but that's kinda what I like. I want to give them the ability to do something,
hmm
but then I want them to be able to go out and do it. I think, um, growing up, child of an immigrant, all you hear is study and get a degree and go to college and get a good job and stable job, so you don't have to like grind 24/7 like we did in order to give you a life. You already have a life.
Yeah.
And so that's all I did. I just ground all the time. And so um that's kind of what I'm thinking right now. And she and I had to talk about it and stuff, but that's kind of where I am, is like I want to make sure that they have options. Yes. I want to invite the idea that college isn't everything, because I can assure you by the time I have a kid and they're ready for high school or ready for college, it's going to be even more exorbitant than it is now.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I just want to like preemptively think that, what if my kid just went out and got a trade? Yo, start plumbing,
Start point. Yeah.
start doing HVAC or whatever it is, right? Like there's just options. And not I definitely don't want to put down any service industry. Like trades are just as valuable as degree jobs and things like that. And sometimes
Yeah.
even more if you own your own trade company and things like that, right? Like there's value in other places besides an educational degree. Education is valuable, but a degree itself just doesn't hold the same value to me anymore, given
Y-
that I have one. And it's really interesting. Before you get to your thing that you pinned, because I'm gonna put that pin right back in. Now that I say that, I feel like I sound like the people, when you have those people who've made it and made millions of dollars and all that
yeah.
stuff, and they're like, if I did it all again, or they're like, people think it's all like roses and everything like that up here at the top, but it's really not. And I'm like, are you sure? 'Cause
Yeah.
I think there's value in where you are. And somebody might be thinking, okay, Arish, well, you have a master's and a CPA and all that stuff. I think there's value in where you are, and there is. I'm just saying, I think there's equivalent value in other places.
Yeah.
Please say your piece.
To go off of that, there is a value. Yes, there is still a value on education. Even though today's age, like a degree, like you said, doesn't hold as much weight anymore, which is awesome. That like you're putting it in your head of like I want to give my child options. Like I want to make sure that regardless of what they want to do, whether they want to push through education in college to get a degree towards what they want, or if they want to go learn a trade or you know do stuff like that, like that's amazing. Because I think that's
Mhm.
honestly like the end goal, like
Aha.
but
Aha.
but I think that's like really the end goal because like yes, your parents or my parents or even immigrant parents, like parents who've did everything for their kid to have the opportunities that they had.
Mhm.
I don't think necessarily you should push that on to the next generation. I feel like you should
Sure.
always try to push and try to, you know, get better so that way the next generation can have it a little bit easier,
Mhm.
Not too easy, because then,
Right. Right.
but a little bit easier. Um, so that's awesome that you're thinking that because that's even in my thought process sometimes. I'm not thinking of having a kid yet, not, but it's just sometimes I'll think like, man, if I was a dad,
I thought you were about to drop it on the End Goal podcast. Exclusive Corey news, everybody. That's the
exclusive,
first clip going up.
I'm a dad.
You just pull a baby out of the camera.
Oh, I just
Oh,
pull him out. I'm a dad.
that's so funny. 2026 really kicked me in the balls in the first 14 days. What happened? I became a dad.
And he's just like here. Yeah, this is my child.
This is my child. His name is also Corey. It's Corey the second.
Corey the second. But oh, that's funny. But yeah, like that should be that's a really smart idea, and that's really like I feel like that's what we should be doing is to making it
Mhm.
easier for the next generation.
Mhm.
For the pin that I
Mhm.
put
The
earlier,
pin. Let's talk about the pin.
um, congratulations, and just let it be known that I'm the first to say it before it happens. It's here, folks. But I remember I had a talk with my mom like I think 5 years ago
Mhm.
because I think I was doing a project or something like that in class, and it was on healthcare. It was on
Mhm.
healthcare,
Yeah.
and I found out that I mean, I guess I was. I mean, I'm in school. I'm a youngin.
Mhm.
I'm naive, but it dawned on me like doing the research that like yeah, having a kid isn't free. You know, like I think the low at that time that I saw for like bill wise for having a kid was like 50K.
Yep.
And I was like, "What?"
Scary.
Yeah, and I looked at my
Scary.
mom, and I got home, went over to my mom. I was like, "Mom, how much is it to have a kid?" And she was like, "Oh," like she said around the same number. Um, she's like, "Yeah, it costs to bring a child into this world." And I was
Mhm.
like, "That's so bogus." But
Yep. When I first heard the number 2, I was so astounded, and then I was having a talk with my wife. I would if you haven't, I would definitely go listen to the episode I did with Laura, uh, Eakin. Laura Turns the Page. She's a mom of, I think, 2 or 3 kids, also a book talk creator and a podcaster and stuff, but we got a lot into, like, motherhood and parenthood with her.
mhm,
But when I was talking to my wife about this, I didn't realize the massive physical I knew the physical load that and the changes that occur in a woman's bodies after during and after pregnancy and stuff, but the mental load, the depressive episodes and things like that that they go through that until recently I didn't know it was I didn't know postpartum depression was a thing. So
yeah,
now I think about it, like, when you're bringing a child into this world, yeah, there's a monetary cost, there's a physical cost, there's a time, there's a cost in every single way, and like your life is irreparably changed, not
yeah,
irreparably, but your life is just unequivocally changed bring a kid into the world. And so it's like that's just not something I want to do like willy nilly.
yeah. Like I don't. That's very irresponsible,
Yeah,
if you were to,
yeah.
I,
If you
I,
had the knowledge, and yeah, I think so too. Like if you had the knowledge of what it costs and still did it without regard of the cost or being in a place to be able to care for it appropriately, yeah, that's scary.
yeah, it is. I had a friend, um, she had a kid a few years ago. I went to high school with her and everything, and she even told me about it. She was like, "Yeah, like it's a real thing,
Mm-hmm.
and a lot of like women go through it." And it just put into my head of just like, yeah, this is it really does take a village, and it
Yeah.
really like it takes everything to like even before bringing the child into the world, bringing them into the world, and then like
Mm-hmm.
so forth. Because like yeah, you're right. I mean, your life is from that point on, from the moment you realize that like you know the kid is like on his way,
Mm-hmm.
like I think that's when necessarily like reality, not like reality hasn't set in for us, but just like the
Mm-hmm.
real reality of
Yeah.
like now I'm not just living for myself.
Mm-hmm.
Like everything I do, I have to do and put in twice as much work
Mm-hmm.
for my little one,
Yeah. Yeah. Like
Um,
there's no longer two independent adults living together in a place. It is two independent adults and a dependent organism
yeah.
dependent on you. That's like, okay, now I gotta think about their entire week on Sunday. Like
Yeah.
I gotta think about tonight when I wake up in the morning.
Yeah.
Oh, I haven't even slept yet because they were up crying and I had to be up and like console them and things like that, right? So like I think about those things often, mainly because I ruminate a lot, and in order to prepare myself for a baby, I've just done a lot of rumination on different things of it. I have read nothing, and I don't really listen to parenting like things like that yet. I know one of the pieces of advice I've gotten in the past has just been like, don't really worry about reading parenting books or listening to like parenting advice. Like it's different for everybody, and you just kind of
Yeah.
learn as you go. I don't know why we're talking about parenting as two like young men who don't have time to like have a
Yeah.
kid, but here we are. Here we are.
Here we are. Here we are.
Um, but
I'm a dad.
that's the that's the only thing that we're gonna get out of this episode aside from that.
Once this episode drops, I know Simon's gonna hit me. If you
Oh, I'm sending it to him. I'm like, "Timestamp 4, like, 15, go." Just
without context,
without
just
oh, that's gonna be so good. Um, but moving away from the topic of parenting, even though it's important, I would love to talk to you about it in detail later. I do want to talk about a few of the other things that you initially said in your initial response about your goals for 2026, and you said that you want to get back into your creativity, your photography, videography,
yeah,
and things like that. Um, I personally appreciate that goal because have loved your videos in the past. I think that every time one of our friends in our group tries to get creative, get into creating content, like when Major did it, when Gifted still does it, when Siler did it, like everybody had a different way of being creative. MJG is a god when it comes to this.
yeah,
Like I love everybody's videos. I personally think everybody's videos are always more creative than mine, and I love that. I love to like see that and be like, what can I take away? So I'm excited to see what you come up with because when you did do a few like videos on YouTube and like clips on the Instagram and stuff, I liked your vision. I
oh,
really
thank you.
did. It was fresh. It was nice. It always makes me forget I could do like dual person videos and stuff. I just don't want to think that much anymore when I create content. I just want to come in here, talk, leave, and then start editing. But like putting a little bit of effort into like this guy says this guy says this, then you have to wait while the other guys talk and like trying to like do
It
two-person talking things breaks
it's a
my brain.
lot.
Breaks my brain a little
It
bit.
was like
Uh,
thinking in 3D. Like,
it really is,
yeah,
especially like if you script it and plan it, it's not as bad when you're recording it. But when you're trying to record it raw, just off the dome, and you're like,
yeah.
okay, I'm gonna say something that's gonna be like the background audio, and then I'm gonna sit here quietly and replay what I just said in my head and
Yeah.
wait until that is done, and then I react to like simulate, and it's just it doesn't work. But I appreciate that. I appreciate that goal. I think you said something about um either getting back in or like getting back into your creativity. What does that look like for you? For somebody who stepped out of it maybe for a little bit,
Um,
how does getting back into creativity look like for you?
for me, it looks like, part of it, like probably 25% of the beginning is just getting back to basics, figuring out what made me love the things that I loved before. Not saying like I don't love them now, but
Mhm.
like, trying to find that spark
Mhm.
or ignite it in a different
Mhm.
area.
Mhm.
Um, and so by going back to the basics of just like, with photography, going back to figuring out and planning like photo shoots for people. Like
Mhm.
I have a notebook that I used to just,
I remember, yes.
yeah, filled with like all of my ideas, and like I recently went back through them,
Mhm.
and I had a page for I think 2024 2025 that I never got to, but it was a page dedicated to like all the projects that I wanted to get done that year,
Mhm.
depending on whether it be, a concept video or like, dance and
Mhm.
stuff like that. Like I even wrote down people's names of like who I want to contact. And I was like, you know, I read through it and I kind of got like the little mental image of like, I see where I was going and this excites me because like I want to make sure that all of this gets done this year because I'm in
Mhm.
a better position and have better knowledge of like what I want to do now.
Mhm.
Um, so even that like reignited the passion I had for with my creativity and just like going diving fully deep into it.
Do you have the space for it, or do you have to eliminate something that you're doing now to create more space for it?
Huh. That is a great question actually. I've been thinking about that a lot.
Mhm.
Um,
I love talking about elimination versus addition when it comes to these things. Please give me your insight.
so obviously I can't eliminate the job because it's gonna
Mm,
fund everything,
mhm.
you know.
Fair.
Um, but I've realized now one of the main things I will have to eliminate is just a lot of my like free time. And by free time, I mean the time that I spend at my PC, like playing
Mhm.
games with friends or even going out with friends. Like, the play aspect part of that has to be eliminated
Yeah.
because, you know, I have to make room for the time that I'm going to make for these things.
Mhm.
I can't cut off inner relationships,
Yeah.
rather a relationship with my girlfriend or like even relationships with my family. I can't just,
Mhm.
all right, peace out, guys. And,
Yeah, I'm going into a cave to
yeah, I'm disappearing for like 6 months out of the year. I'll be back.
I wish
Can't
I
do
could
that.
do that. I really do. There's a part of me that just wishes I could do that. I think
You and me
every
both.
man's wish is he wishes he could disappear, go on a massive training arc, and then come back.
Ab- Absolutely. Absolutely. I've thought about that so much. Like,
I've thought about that so many times when it comes to, like, my content of, like, "Okay, cool, I spent a year doing this. I'm still unhappy and not where I am. Do I continue or do I go hermit mode and refine my skills and then come back and see if it's better?
Mhm.
Or do I just stop doing all of this, create more space in my life, talk to nobody, and just go straight to the gym?"
a lot of elimination and adding
A lot
into
of
it.
yeah, yeah.
But even like then, like what you said with like content, with video wise, there was a time where I actually stopped when I first stopped doing videos and photos. Like, it was mainly because a part of me was just not satisfied
Mhm,
with what I was doing, and
mhm,
I dwindled it down to the fact that, like, because MJG, every time I do something or I talk to him, he always tells me, like, you know you have a way of doing things with what you have
mhm.
that still makes it look like amazing.
Agree. Yeah.
And I didn't fully appreciate what he said
Mhm,
until later on, because at
mhm,
that time I was like, like, I love I love that, but like I want to be able to do like this and that, and like
mhm.
I need money for it.
Yeah.
I need to go and do this and that, but then like I won't have time for this and that. Like
Mhm.
going through the whole spiel of like I have to like sacrifice everything just
Yeah.
for my dream later on. When in reality, I'm realizing that what I could have done was sit with it,
Mhm,
because I feel like, and you can either tell me your 2 cents on it, but I feel like a lot of the creativity in not just me, not in just you, not in just Siler or anybody else, but even like in general of human terms, like our creativity and our just active creation gets better with restriction. Like even some artists, right? For example, Kid Cudi is back there on my wall.
mhm,
But his restriction, that I've found in my head, was just that, like, his battle with addiction,
mhm,
and through him speaking about his battle of addiction, and through him like going through this change of music, like
mhm.
it literally brought out his best pieces of work that he's had, you know?
Yeah.
Even then, like, certain artists from back then, I'm forgetting names as I talk, but um, who was that one artist that like cut off his ear and sent it to his lover? You don't remember him? We all learned about him in school.
An artist did that?
Yeah, like he's like an old time. I think he's the one that made that one picture that was like this.
Scream?
Nah, you don't remember it? Like it's like all swirly lines, and like it's this one like person, and he's like this, and then like in the background is like
Yeah,
a
yeah, yeah,
moon.
the guy who's screaming?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, I don't
Like
know who was that. It's not. The Scream isn't a Van Gogh. Who? Yo. Keep talking. I'm gonna see. I'm gonna look this up right now for you guys. Uh,
Um,
artist that cut
cut off
off
his
their ear and sent it to their lover.
lover.
Van Gogh.
Oh, so it was Van Gogh.
Cutting off part of his own ear and delivering it to a woman he was infatuated with. A 19-year-old maid working at the brothel. Not a prostitute, contrary to long held belief,
But a maid.
but a maid
A
at a
maid.
brothel. A young Gabrielle Berletier, if you will.
Yeah.
Really makes me look at Van Gogh in a different light. It was also a part of his ear, so I wonder what part it was.
Yeah. Sorry, part of his ear, not
If
his
you
whole ear.
who are you sending part of your ear to?
Um.
You better
Dang,
not be a
man.
young barmaid at a brothel. Find somebody else, or he, depending on what you're into. But like, who's
Wow.
not sorry, not you, but like anybody listening. Like, if you also wanted to send a part of your ear to a person you're infatuated with, he or she or they,
Yeah.
go on. Just
Try to do it.
don't do that. Don't do that.
Well,
If
don't actually
don't
do it
actually
because
do that.
that's
The police are outside right now.
we have all the evidence right here in the podcast. They were
How did you
telling
know I
all
was
of
here?
the
The End Goal podcast.
the End Goal podcast. But yeah, like a lot of our creativity or a lot of our advancements came from like a restriction from before, whether that be parts of life, whether that be a lot of it's honestly money,
Mhm.
really, for a lot of people. Money is their
Mhm.
restriction, or even, stuff like that. I realized that my restriction then was my my mind and what I wanted,
Mhm.
and me wanting it so badly that like I kind of was in not gonna say like in a depressive like mode, but just like in my head, I genuinely thought like even though you guys were telling me like, hey, that was sick, or like MDG was constantly telling me like, yeah, you're doing great. Like a part of me was really like, they're just saying that. Like
Oh, I
they're
get
they're really
that.
just saying that.
Trust me, I get that. I'm currently still there, with my own stuff. So, I do want to confirm your thought though that I do believe that restriction breeds creativity.
Mm,
One of my favorite things when it comes to people making content online is like that guy who just has like that guy who does like cheap cosplays where he'll just have like a piece of tissue paper and like a fan blowing. It's like that. I think he's like an Asian guy, and just
mm,
like very basic bland objects, and he just like puts them in a certain way, and then bam, it changes to the actual like anime character who he's like modeling and stuff. It's things like that when you're like, I'm restricted to what I have in my house.
yeah,
How can I make this work? And that just level of creativity just starts coming out of you. Like I'm restricted to when we dance, we do a lot of restrictions, whether it's like themed rounds or whatever. And it's like, well, what can I do when I'm in a box? What can I do when I can only use my right hand? What can I do when I can
yeah,
only joke wave? I can only throw jabs. Like, what can I do? Um, so I agree with you. I think restriction definitely breeds creativity. I just think like you you need space for
yeah,
it. Like until you've worked the muscle out to where you're creative on a dime again, like I know I need like an hour to record. Well, actually, not anymore. I used to need like an hour to record and like sit and think. Now I just turn the camera on. I have a topic in mind and I just start talking. But that's
yeah.
because like I did it for so long, but I needed space to do it.
Hmm. You
Things
need
like
that
that.
that growth, that period of like,
Yeah. But I
yeah,
had to keep. I think to your point and to what I said earlier of like wanting to go away and come back. I think there are two types of people: the private person who goes, trains, and comes back stronger, and you just see like their new strength, or the person who trains in your field of vision and so you see them getting better and so maybe you don't notice it but bam, now
yeah,
they're super strong, right? There's two ways to do it. I just think nowadays with so many distractions around, it's almost better to train in plain sight so that like people see you, you're held accountable, you're holding yourself accountable based on other people's views, or like, hey, I want to show Arish that at the end of the 30 days, I did this. Um, so Imma message him something every single day, or, like, every week. We're gonna check in, something like that. Like a way to do it in other people's views. Um, I feel like that's what a lot of us are doing now. It's just, like, training in plain sight, which is I
Yeah.
think is good.
Yeah. It's always great to see like people's progression.
That's a good word. You know, I spent, like, 4 minutes saying something you said in, like, 2 seconds, and I appreciate you for that. I really do. I really
Yeah.
do.
Like seeing people's progression is like I feel like at times it can also be like I mean like in a sense like a blessing in a sense,
Mhm.
you know? Like when you meet a person, whether it be in whatever field, and like you're with them constantly, whether it be through work or like outside of work. And you know, there was a quote somebody said, and it was like, um, your friends are legends in the making, and the you right now is not appreciating that.
Mm.
Because you know, I have friends who are working to become doctors. I have friends who are working to become nurses.
Yep.
I have friends who are firefighters like right now. And like I really like sat down and I was like, dang, like these people really are like legends in the making in the
Yeah.
sense of like I've seen them.
Yeah.
It was like a blessing to me to see them before it and to
Yeah.
see them achieve their end goal of like
Mhm.
getting there and then now pushing it to like farther than they ever
Mhm.
thought. And it kind of like it motivates me.
Yeah.
It motivates me a lot.
Yeah. I
So
you know that thing you said earlier about when somebody would appreciate your work, but you would convince yourself that they're just saying that, like, you're unable to see it in the moment, the
yeah,
quality and the and you're unable to appreciate your own work in the moment, but you now looking back on your work previously, like, I'm sure there's a level of appreciation that you see for it that you're like, "That was actually cool, like, that was nice," things like that, right? And I always remind myself when I'm getting into my low zones, like this month alone, I've been reading so for my community on TikTok mainly, but I post it everywhere else, I've been reading through Golden Sun, um, book 2 of the Red Rising series, and I they enjoyed the first book when I went chapter by chapter and I recorded a video per chapter. That's like
hmm
50 videos of Red Rising. There's 51 chapters in Golden Sun, and so read, I've taken notes on every single chapter in the book and then
that's it.
recorded it and then edited it and then posted it. And so this month alone, I'm probably going to hit almost like 60 something, 65 something videos, like short form videos just posted on like in January alone. I appreciate that. Given that it's episodical and it's a book that if you haven't read it and you're watching like and my video of chapter 33 comes onto your feed for the first time, you're like, I don't want to watch this. I haven't seen the first 32 and I haven't read the book. So like it's not the most inviting to like the general public, but it's something that I want to do for the community. Now, while doing it, I'm like, fuck, this is like yesterday I literally posted like on one of my stories, I was like, I'm just so tired of making videos right now. Um, but I know that like looking back a few months down, looking back, looking at like, you know, yeah, there's maybe places I could have improved here or there, but I'm happy that I did all these videos.
Yeah,
I'm happy that I had a system that I stuck to and it helped me do this. And I still did other things in life around it. Or I'm just happy that I built this catalog that I can go back to or somebody else can go back to. And um, last year, one of my motto for 2026 is to remember 2022 Irish. A motto for me is something to theme to make it's a theme for my entire year to where all behaviors fall into that theme.
yeah,
And so I was going through my phone looking at prior videos of myself and I would catch myself like watching some previous workout videos that I'd recorded myself or previous dance or whatever it is, and I was like, this guy is awesome. I would see like currently, like physique wise, I'm fluffier now than I used to be. And I remember back in 2022 when I was training hardcore calisthenics, rock climbing, training for ninja. First thing like in 2021, I was very aggressively fit back then. Not cardiovascularly, but every other vein, I was pretty fit. But I remember looking at myself like, mm, not good enough. And yet
Yeah.
now I'm here looking back 4 years prior, like you were so good,
Yeah.
right? So it's like it's always remembering that you of the now, like you of the future is going to appreciate you of the now. You of the now appreciate yourself as well. And I
Yeah.
think that helps me just continue instead of thinking like I should just stop.
Yeah. I wish I would have told myself like a few years ago, but
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I'm here now. I'm here now to tell you
yeah.
that.
Thank you.
But I I'm looking forward to seeing what you create, and I will do what I usually do with a good amount of other people. And I'm just gonna hard message you. So how's the creativity going?
Please
How are
do.
the videos
Please.
going?
Please hold
Um,
me accountable. Please.
it's really funny that I say that, and I do that with a good amount of friends, but I don't do that with everybody. And every time I sometimes I'll talk to friends like this, and I'm like, oh yeah, so I'll just message you in a month and ask and see how it's going. They're like, please do. But then if I don't, they also don't message me about like, oh hey, I did it. By the way, so it's very interesting that people say, please keep me accountable, and then put all of the
A responsibility.
responsibility of action on the other person, therefore eliminating the need for them to be accountable for themselves in that sense,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Not to say
Because
that
then
that's what you're doing, but I just
mhm.
I find that a very interesting behavior. Um, one of my best friends and I, we set up a monthly call at this point. Every month at the end of the month we catch up and we just kind of talk about what we've been doing, just as a way of like also like, hey, I have a monthly call coming up. Like I haven't done shit, or like I've done so much. I'm excited. I'm excited to like go into this call and like chat.
Yeah.
Um, And so if you're out there and you don't have a monthly call set up with your friends, get a monthly call.
That's actually a good
Set up with
idea.
like one friend
Yeah, just
and
monthly
just
call.
and just check in. Um, I want to get a little bit introspective with you.
All right, bet. I'm here. Wait, before you do that, I was so excited to
Okay.
tell you this
Okay.
because it came in today.
Oh,
The first book of 2026.
let's go.
He's a
Claps.
dad.
What is
I'm so sorry. It
That's
just
gonna be the recurring theme of this video, and I'm so happy you're doing it because if you hadn't said it, I was gonna say it. Oh, that's so funny. What book is that? It's called The Girl in the Well.
The Girl from the Well
From the Well.
by Rin. I hope I'm saying her last name right. Chupiko or
Can you
Chupeko?
put the cover back on the screen for us?
Yes.
Interesting. Where did this come from?
So it was. I remember reading one of her books in high school,
Mhm.
and I just loved her style of like writing because this is the first time I've ever gotten into like a thriller horror esque type book,
Sure.
and I that was when I fully realized like I love a good mystery, like I
Mm.
love a good thriller slash mystery,
Mhm.
and this I've been meaning to get this book and I am so happy I got like it came in today at like 3:45
Nice.
and it's on my bookshelf with like all my other like mangas and stuff and I
Yep.
was like I can't wait to tell Art. I
Nice.
can't wait.
Thank you for telling me. You know, if this is the only book you read this year, I'm gonna be so happy because you read a book this year. It's gonna be awesome. I genuinely want to know all about it though when you finish it.
All right, bet. I will definitely let you know.
Yeah, because your boy has 60 plus books on his 2026 TBR right now. I read 68 books in 2025.
2025? You said 66? You
68.
read 60, 68.
Yeah.
Dang, why not 69, man? Come on. One more
The
till the
69th book, I ended up actually the 69th book was supposed to be Golden Sun, and I started it in December and I couldn't finish it.
there we go.
So, because I got the flu, And so
Mhm.
originally, Golden Sun was supposed to be a December chapter by chapter read along. But I got the flu after I finished the first 19 chapters of Golden Sun and I'd written everything down. I got the flu, so I was like, okay, well, I'm already past halfway to the month, and I don't want to cram all this because I'm also going on vacation at the end of the month.
Yeah.
So then I switched gears to finishing a different book that I started early in the year. That was called Cello's Gate by Maurice Fritsch. Good book. Didn't really land for me, but overall, most people like it, and I enjoyed it decently. And that was the last book I read in 2025. But then looking forward to 2026, I have like 70 or so books on there on my list because I made a whole YouTube video of like all the books that I want to read. Um, and on top of that, I'm coming back to manga and manhwa, bro. I'm coming back because I stopped reading manga and manhwa this year, like early in the year, because I want to make more space for books.
Yeah.
Ask me how many manhwa I've caught up with this month already.
I'm afraid. Should I? How many have you caught up with this month already?
Four. Literally, and what's the kicker? What I hate about myself is none of them are the ones that I put on my fucking list to catch up
uh,
on.
oh my
Because I
gosh.
went down Webtoon and I was like, I was going down my previous bookmark list of like which are ones that like like the the slop regression hunter manhwa.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
love that shit, right?
I do too.
I'm just scrolling, reading that shit. So, like, in
I
order to
love
get
it.
me back into manhwa, I was reading the slop first
Hmm.
before I get to the good tea. And so I've caught up with 3, and I'm currently catching up on Jungle Juice.
Jungle Juice.
Bro,
Yes,
I've been a Jungle Juice fan. I've
dude.
been a Jungle Juice fan.
I think you were the one to tell me about Jungle Juice. Now that I
Mhm.
think about it, yeah, dude. Oh man,
Yeah.
I so what I usually do now when it comes to like manhwas is once I catch up, I literally leave it alone
Yep.
for like 3 to 4 months,
Yep. Same.
and that's what I did.
Yeah.
And boy, is it always a great like late night
Yeah.
read.
I
Um,
agree with you.
one
I always forgot to put where I stopped because I also never logged into Webtoons. I was always like a lurking guy, so it never
yeah
obviously saved where I stopped for me. And so when I was catching up with these, I had to keep going back in time of like, not this chapter. This doesn't look familiar. This doesn't look familiar. This looks kind of okay. This looks familiar, and then I'll start from here and
yeah
go back. So I've read probably over 150 chapters of collectively so far. So every single one of them had anywhere from 50 to 75 chapters to catch up on.
yeah
Um,
dude, it's always a
and
great
but
read.
now, to your point, I've caught up, and then I've stopped it, and in my Notion, I've been like stopped on chapter this.
There we go.
So then I
Good
go
job.
back to it. So then I go back to it.
Should
Um,
probably do that.
but
There was what was it? Solo leveling, right?
yeah, yeah. I mean, I've read that thing
Rag.
3 times. I never finished Ragnarok.
So the crazy thing about Ragnarok is, because the creator of Solo Leveling died.
That's why. Okay. Yeah, no, I
Yeah,
heard about that. I did hear about that.
yeah, he died. I think in 2022. I
Yes.
think
Yes.
around there, and
Yeah.
then someone else, or I think his close
It
friend.
was his team. Yeah. Somebody in his
Yeah,
team tried to continue like with Ragnarok.
yeah, and I think the main artist for Ragnarok, it's going on an indefinite hiatus. We don't know when it'll come back.
Oh, it's in head. I heard it was done.
No, it's not done. It's
Okay,
just
good.
going on
Because
hiatus.
from when I stopped to when I heard it was done, I was like, "There's no way they finished that
Yeah,
quickly. It's a whole story."
exactly.
Oh,
Apparently,
wow.
the main artist is going on because in Korea or like in Asian countries, like for men especially, they have to go through mandatory like
And
military training.
yeah.
Um, don't hold
The
me to
artist
that. I'm
was
not saying
younger
like
than
all of them do, but
the artist was in his, like, young he was a young artist. Because like,
yeah,
I know usually, like, men, like, in their, like, early 20s go through, like or, like, late teens when they're about to graduate or whatever, they go into, like, the 2-year enlistment.
yeah.
Oh, wow, interesting.
He
That I
didn't
didn't
give us his
know.
age, but he was just like, yeah, he's
That's
going to
interesting.
do military service. And I
Okay.
was like, oh,
Well, I'll put a pin in that one and go back to literally, as we're talking, one of my screensavers is a Solo Living screensaver where he's just, like, flipping off the opponent.
oh my god, I loved that
Love
scene.
those scenes. Um, I, but yeah, I have Yeah, I have 70 books to look at this year, and I'm already reading books that I haven't put on my list just because 'cause I've come across them, and I'm like, "Fuck." So, like, there's gonna be months where I read, like, 1 or 2 books, and there's gonna be months where I read, like, 15. That's just how it's gonna be, and I'm still going to somehow find time to plug manga and stuff and manhwa back in because, like, I should not have been reading 4 manhwa right now. I have other things to read, but nighttime, I'm on my foldable laptop, putting it into an iPad form and just
Exactly.
it's addicting, it's addicting. Okay, okay, now, topic at hand.
Yes.
I love in deep conversations. I like to have them as much as possible. And so, what I want to ask you is, has there been anything recently that you've changed your mind on, um, from what you previously thought?
Anything recently that I've changed my mind on what I recently thought? I think a lot and I forget my thoughts a lot, but
Mhm,
anything that I've recently changed my Oh, yeah, actually. Um I changed my mind about how do I explain? Um I guess like my time.
mhm,
Like I changed my mindset about like it's okay to be selfish with your time
mm,
because it's your life, you know? Like I used to give my time out to anyone that like would ask for it, without a second thought of how it would affect me or affect my personal plans.
mhm,
But even just then, like thinking about time in general, like changing up like how I perceive the usage of my time and people's time,
mhm,
like, if sometimes like say me and you planned like to play video games
yeah,
like in this very moment and you told me like, hey, I can't, I forgot I made time, a slot for, the wife. And
mhm,
I'm like, instead of just being like, oh man, Arish never wants to hang out,
yeah,
I think my mindset's changed into like, I'm that's completely fine because
mhm,
we will eventually have our time,
mhm,
to hang out, to talk. Um, and again, it's like that third person view of like that's his life. Like, what am
mhm,
I to be mad over
yeah.
all of that? Now, per se, if it was like different in the sense of like you flaked on me and you didn't tell me that, then it
Repeated that, yeah,
yeah, then yes, obviously
yeah,
you can get mad. But I'm just saying in the sense of like some people don't understand. And I didn't understand it for myself of
mhm,
just like being selfish with my time
yeah,
and figuring out who can take said time from me.
yeah,
Obviously family is one.
mhm,
That's a given. I grew up a family person. I'm always going to be a family person, family
mhm,
oriented person. So my family's always going to come first. Um, then if I didn't have a girlfriend, it would have been friends, but
mhm,
girlfriends next. And then, friends and so forth. But, with my mind shifting for this year, I'm realizing that like, okay, I can put myself first in all of this, and that is
yeah,
completely fine. I used to feel a lot like guilty for doing
mhm,
that before because I realized some people are, excuse my French, but like assholes.
yeah,
They're assholes in the sense of like they're thinking that your time is their time and their time is their time,
mm,
and they didn't have any second thought of it.
yeah. I think I started in the opposite place you were, where I was very selfish with my time.
Hmm.
Um, Even in college, you know, I would always be frustrated if somebody was late to something or somebody flaked because I'm like, I gave up. I'm using my time to be with you, and you are late. You're not respecting my time. You are not giving me prior notice. All these things, right? Um, when I was last year, when I was going gung ho on the podcast, I would like to say uploaded a video every single week last year, literally right up until I got the flu in December and I missed 1 week because I was like, I just can't. Like, I'm gonna sound like nasally and really bad on camera. I'd rather just not. But in doing so, like, it was a lot of trying to schedule with people and figure out times and things like that. And if people something came up, yeah, we can push it back. I'll move things around and upload somebody else's video earlier. Like, I would be very accommodating. And I never initially felt like, um, oh, you need to reschedule. You're disrespecting my time. It was more so I'm asking for their time. They're willing to give it, but things come up. It's their life and everything. But I did run into some times when it was like, oh, we've rescheduled it 3 times now, and not because of me. At what point do I at least allow myself to feel the emotions of frustration and annoyance and a little bit of that, at least to feel something,
Yeah.
and then we can still reschedule and stuff like that too. I did tell one of my friends, I was like, I told him, I was like, this is the third time we're rescheduling. It is a bit frustrating. I understand that you have things going on. After this time, I may not be able to push it back again. We'll just have to reschedule fully for like 2026, something
Yeah.
like that, right? Um, because and like certain friends of mine who are actual business owners and professionals and things like that, when like I'm asking for their time, they're not getting paid for it. I'm not getting paid for this. I'm still trying to build something. So it's
Yeah.
like you have to kind of be cognizant of your place in a sense
Mhm.
and in the situation. So I try to be very flexible and open minded there of like I'm asking for somebody's free time and they could be using it to make money in some way, form, or fashion. And I also have to like keep that in regard. But I definitely used to be more selfish with my time, and just recently I've just been trying to be more open to lending it out.
Yeah.
Um, and it's tough, but I feel like having done that, it has provided a level of opportunity in small ways that I maybe previously wouldn't have gotten if I just hoarded all of it for myself.
Mhm.
Um, yeah. What looking forward, I made this question to some of my friends in Discord, to my wife, some of my friends here, and I really like this question. I kind of want to ask you, if you could build anything, make anything that you wanted to, if you had the money to do so, what would it be?
If I had the money to do so,
Mm-hmm.
what would it be? Can I give two answers?
Of course.
All right. First answer, selfishly for me,
Okay.
if I had the money to build it, I would honestly probably build like a studio, not just a dance studio, but just like a studio for whatever creating needs that like I may need. Like whether it be, a room for editing where I have
Mm-hmm.
the best computers to go through 3D rendering and everything like that, to even, big rooms and sets of like of different things that like I want in the background and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
And like having the money for, buying actors and stuff like that. Like if I had the money, I would probably just make a whole like movie set and
Mm-hmm.
just like what are they called? Like Warner Brothers.
Like a production studio.
Yeah, just a production studio. Yeah, for
Interesting.
like anything and all things that like I may think of or that I want to put my time into,
Mm-hmm.
like because I still think we need a Static Shock movie, but that's just me.
Honestly, though, we got Blue Beetle, and we still haven't gotten Static Shock.
Exactly. So, but yeah, now that's just my selfish wish.
Mm-hmm.
Now, second answer, I would probably, with the amount of money in the world that I may have, I think I would love to do something for like the community with my money. Like whether that be, you know, in a new library here and there, or like a new school, or even a college where like kids don't got to worry about tuition. Like literally the only thing you need to pay me back with is just giving me a picture of that degree that you're going for. Like
Mm-hmm.
probably just like, yeah, something like that. Just free college for people,
Mhm.
free education for people. You know, because I mean, at the
Mhm.
end of the day, money is power, but like the only way to get to money is to have the knowledge. You know.
Mhm. What's Well, first of all, those are great ideas, and the reason that I posed that is I wanted to ask you, do you think you're working towards either of those two?
Mm, I think the first one seems more up my alley at the moment of
Mhm.
what I'm wanting to do. And I think the second one would be something for later,
Mhm.
um, if the first one works out,
Mm.
or when the
Yeah.
first one went. No, you know what? No more negative
No more
words.
if, it's
When
when the first one works
when the
out,
first one
then
works
Imma move
out.
on to the second one.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah.
That's another mindset change. Like
Yeah.
telling myself stop with like all the negative. Like I can't do it
Yeah.
yet. Add
Mhm.
yet at the end.
I always add yet or
Yeah.
well, you know, I do like to think I like that question because it takes the weight of money off the plate and says, "Just
Mhm.
what do you wanna do?" But then I think about it, like, when somebody gives me an answer that seems kinda realistic or achievable, and then in my head, I'm
Mm.
like, "So why aren't you working towards it?" Or are you working toward I shouldn't say why not, are you working towards it?
Mhm.
When my friends ask that question of me, I think the thing that came to mind, the thing that stays in my mind is I want to build something that benefits all of my friends.
Yeah.
So, like, for me, it was initially when I had this thought, like 2024 year end, I was like, I want to make a company that all my friends can come work at and they can just do whatever they want. Like whatever their like aim is, they just join the company and they can go do what they want. Um and that kind of more evolved into like I think it would be cool if I had the funds to fund my friends' dreams. I was like, I think that would be cool.
Yeah.
Um, Whether it's, hey, you need resources like people, I can connect you with the people you need. Hey, you need like a 10K investment to get this thing started up. Boom, here you go. Give me like 3% after the first, like how much ever money you need to keep to get this to break even and get this thing going.
Mhm.
Like, um, oh, you need like space. Let's go look at a warehouse or a property or whatever it is. Let's talk about that. Like, I think, and maybe this is like any sort of insecurities of myself talking of like, oh, I need to provide value in order to for somebody to stay my friend or whatever it is. I don't know. Maybe it's some of that in there. I felt that in the past, but I think it's genuinely just like I don't have a lot of the times I don't want much more for myself. I'm just like I just want to be able to help other people, and I don't know how to do that because I don't. I like I said, I'm very selfish with my time.
Yeah.
So I'm not necessarily the guy who's going to go volunteer his time, but I am the guy who will volunteer his resources.
Mhm.
Um, and so that And so when I thought like, okay, maybe if money wasn't a thing, I would just use money to fund my friends' goals, and then I would ask myself, are you actually working towards that? And I don't know because if this media thing doesn't work for me, I don't know what's next. I have ideas here and there
Yeah.
that require time and effort and attention and focus and etc. But I like to ask that question and always follow it up with, so are you working towards it? I think in your case, the studio is definitely achievable. I feel like there's different levels to it though.
Yeah.
Like if your end goal studio is level 10, I think maybe you're at level 1 or 2, right? You have a space, you have a laptop, you have a camera.
Yeah.
So you have gear. Okay, so what does it take to get to level 2?
And
Um
then from
I thought the same
then
thing for
point.
like the podcast too, right? Like this is in my office space in a place in my house, but at some point I don't want to invite people to my house to have in-person podcasts. I want to be able to like
Yeah.
invite them to a studio. So thinking about that, like, what does that look like? Do I rent one out? Do I make one? Do I like do what? You know?
And then the second one, I feel like there goes.
Mm,
I
yeah,
feel like I'd step on a lot of probably, I wouldn't want to say like political toes trying to make an education at the collegiate level free.
I think you would, because I think you'd be going against what the status quo is of the degree itself.
Capitalism, anyway.
Yeah, exactly, exactly.
The status quo
Just
of
that one word,
capital.
just that one word. Um,
Capitalism.
because walk through this with me real quick, because I enjoy this thought experiment. A
Yeah.
free college would have to be 100% funded by donors, right? So you'd have to have people wealthy enough to fund years of one person's education,
Mhm.
along with room, board, materials, along with salaries, all that stuff, sure. Um, but then the value that somebody attaches to a free college degree,
Is degraded.
where does that value come from, right? Because right now the value comes from the cost of a not just it comes from two places. One, the cost of a university also determines its monetary value. But what people do with that degree determines its value. A Harvard grad is valued more than a UTD grad,
Yeah.
you know? Um, so I would wonder how you like what the value proposition of that is. And then I think, well, if the idea is for it to be free and low cost, that's why people have skill shares and YouTubes and things like that, right? They just start teaching people
Mhm.
um, for free, and it's low cost, medium to high effort, depending on if you want to make it super edited and produced. Um, and as long as you're trying to give people skills for them to use and and flourish with, I wonder if that goal can't be worked on sooner rather than later. Um, you teaching people photography or videography when you get to a level that I understand the basics. Let me teach somebody else the basics, things like that. Um, if I have a friend like MJG knows about solo film production, let's bring him in. Let's bring him in for an episode. Let's talk about how do you produce a solo film? What are the things to think about, etc. Free education like that, I would think, is still valuable. Not to strip apart your goal just like that, but I like to think like there's levels to it that could be worked on now.
Yeah,
Um,
I don't necessarily think of it as stripping. I think you're just asking the real questions of
yeah.
just like, because that is a great question of like, some of these low cost colleges or even just low cost education isn't necessarily seen at a higher value than, like you said, someone at Harvard. So
Hmm.
what would, not necessarily like be the point, but like how would you either brand it and like push it out there to have students, to have people come and help,
Hmm.
which are all very great things to think about. I think you should be thinking about those things.
Yeah.
Don't hold that off till later. So I think I thank you for that actually. And I'd say that yeah, like even though YouTube is like a thing, and I'm not just gonna say a thing, it is the thing
It's the yeah.
where a lot of people like learn. But I know for some people like myself, like sometimes YouTube videos just can't cut it. There are some things like I can't find on YouTube.
Hmm.
But even then, like I mean, I guess in the I was thinking more of in that question, like the amount of money that I'll have will just fund everything.
Yeah.
Like
Oh, you
if
gotta have that
there's
fuck you money then. Yeah.
yeah, you literally
Yeah.
would have to
Yeah.
have that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Um, but in the sense of realistically, not necessarily. I guess yeah, there would have to be donors and stuff.
Yeah.
Um, but I don't know. I guess I am naive in the sense of hoping for a world where people help out each other, regardless of getting something back.
Hmm.
Doing it
That's
just
tough.
cause having a world filled with people with good integrity, of just doing something good, just cause we need more of that in the world.
Hmm. I think yeah, that's that is very tough. That is a lost attribute, I feel like, recently. Um, who do you see yourself as when you're like 10 years later, 20 years later?
I'm a dad. No, I'm just I'm so
What's
sorry. I'm
what's
so sorry.
annoying is I just wasn't we've done it 4 times this episode, and I still wasn't expecting that in that way. I thought it'd be like, I like to have a family. I like to, like, do all this stuff, and then you just fucking pop out with, "Yeah, I'm a."
Man, you should like put a counter like how many times. Um, but where do I see myself in 10 years, or like who do I think of?
Who do you see yourself as in 10 years? I think where is a much easier answer. I think who is a much more difficult answer, because whoever you
Mhm.
say now, you're putting it out there
Yeah,
into the world.
yeah,
So you have to be very careful with the words you choose. Like, I want to be a family man who make sure he spends time with his kids, and then 10 years down the line, I'm a working slog who doesn't have time to spend time with his kids. Fuck, you
yeah.
know?
I think I want to be a person people can come to. Whether that be in their hard times, their great times. I hope and think I'll be a person at that point where people can not saying like to fully depend on me,
Mhm.
um, but in the sense of like Corey's a great person
Mhm.
and I appreciate whatever he says and does,
Mhm.
or I appreciate his advice. I mean, obviously, like in 10 years' time, I hope I'm you know a dad, but and doing stuff along those lines, and pushing pushing my career forward, and maybe even get to the end point of my
Mhm.
career, where I can retire early and just you know be there. But I think in the grander scheme of things, I want to be somebody that people hold on to, um and people appreciate.
Yeah.
Just being a great person and great friend
Mhm.
at the end of the day, because I've been told many times I have too kind of a soul for this world, and I don't want that soul to blacken, because
Mhm.
this world is a very dark place.
Very
Um,
much so.
I'd rather keep the light. I hope that made sense.
It does make sense. It just, in my head, it just creates more questions. And I think the one question that I would like to ask after that is, how do you get there? Like, or not, sorry, not that. It's do people now, do you show people that part of you, that version of you now?
hmm Um, I'd say yes and no.
Mhm.
I say no only because of like whether it be relationships with people, or friendships that fallen off. You know that's the only reason why I say no. Yes,
Mhm.
towards the people who are still in my life today.
Mhm.
Um, but even then, like even when I get out of a relationship, or even like cut ties with people, or some people cut ties with me,
Mhm.
like I let them always know, like, if you need somebody, like I'm always there, like I'm
Mhm.
always here. My heart is always open to the people that have found their way inside.
Mhm.
Pause. Um,
Good
so,
catch.
um, but yeah, like I like to think of myself as a very kind person,
Mhm.
um, and I like to see the good in people, even when it's hard to.
Mhm.
And I can see why that may uh, rub people wrong, and or cause certain relationships to kind of dwindle.
Mhm.
But yeah, like that's the only reason why. Again, that's the only reason why I said no. But I feel
Interesting.
like I do show the side of what I want to be
Mhm.
at that time now.
Mm.
Um, Even then, I'd probably say I should be doing more of it, you know, because maybe right now isn't enough to me.
Interesting. If there's someone out there who has a hard time being kind, do you think you have any words for that person? Like, how can they be kinder, whether it's to themselves or to the people around them?
To the people around them, being kinder to other people, I always like to. I'd say like when you're looking at another person, it's like looking in a mirror, and treat them as if like you're treating yourself. Um, and that carries on to the next question of how can they be kinder to themselves? Like I think understanding a lot of it is honestly like understanding yourself and understanding like the why and how you do things, and be kinder to yourself because you got to, because at the end of the day, when the doors close, the lights turn off, there's only you, like when everything ends, it's only you. So you've got to give yourself a chance, because if
Mhm.
you can't, no one else will.
Mhm.
Yeah. So once, for people who are seen as like unkind to the world, maybe it's mainly because the world wasn't kind to them, or even in the sense of maybe they weren't kind to themselves in the beginning at all,
Mhm.
and they just kind of like shifted it towards everyone else around them.
Yeah, I
So it
can
all
imagine there's a subset of people who don't know how to be kind to themselves, and so they've already viewed the world through the lens by which they view themselves. And so if
yeah,
they're not kind to themselves, they assume other people aren't kind to them either, or aren't trying to be kind to them. Things may seem transactional, utilitarian. Things may seem worse than they are. I think it does start with yourself.
yeah. And even then, like in certain cases, there may be even people who don't even know how to be kind, because
Mhm.
maybe all they've been dished out is just you know meanness and all the other bull crap.
Mhm.
But I think to learn to be kind is, in that type of situation, is hard. But again, the question is still asked, is like, what would I do in
Mhm.
this situation if that
Mhm.
was me, and how would I react? Would I be sad if I asked Arish for an extra slice of pizza and he was like, no, or like,
It's crazy because I would give you two, but yeah, go ahead.
but like, just in those types of situations, like, you just got to be kinder to yourself to be kind to the world.
Mhm.
And maybe there's someone in their life right now that is very kind to them and they just don't know it yet.
Mhm.
I feel like we've kind of veered off a little bit.
No, I think we veered directly where we're supposed to be driving, in my opinion. I think at the beginning
Okay.
we were hitting like, we were just going a good 30 miles an hour. Now we're going straight 90. This is what I this is the these are the conversations that I want to have here with people. Because I think they're genuine. I think these are the things that I would talk to you on a phone call about, and
Yeah.
that's kind of what just what that's just what I want to bring onto the show. Really is the stuff we say, the stuff that can be on the show, but that we stay indoors. There's so many times when I'll turn the camera off when we're done recording, and then sometimes I still talk with the guest. The number one thing that comes to my mind is when I did the episode with T Soup last year, and once we got done, we still kept talking for 30 minutes, talking about the podcast that we listened to and like the stuff that we like about them and certain like things that people have said or whatever. And I'm like, this is once again golden for on the show. Um, and so I like to like, as if anybody as much as the guest is open to being vulnerable, I like to have these conversations. I think these are the ones that are missing
Mhm.
because, still most content is how to get your money up, how to get your physique up, how to get your weight up, how to,
Yeah.
um, how to do very, what's the word for it? Very superficial things. But
Mhm.
only now are we slowly talking about how do you get your mood up? How do you get your positivity up? How do you get your mental up?
Yeah.
How do you get your friend circle up? Um, do
And that's a
you
big thing too.
Yeah, I this is one of the last things I'll end with is do you think you have a environment, community, friend circle around you that helps you grow towards what these goals that you have for yourself are? Or do you feel like you're in one of those where, okay, I might have to step away for a bit to focus on these things because if I stay here, I won't be able to?
Hmm. To be honest, that is a question I've I was asking myself last year.
Mm.
Um,
That's when he cut ties with
and
me, folks. He didn't talk to me for the entire year, so like I was on that list. I was on Corey's list. I was release the files, Corey. Who was on the
release
list?
the files. Release the files. No. What? It says here, the beginning
Release-
of 2026, he became a dad.
Ah,
Sorry.
my 2026 plan: become a dad.
um, but I will say some of the it's kind of like a kind of a 50-50 for me the more I think about it because I only say that in the sense of like all of my friends do different things.
Mhm,
And even though like their core values may align with mine,
mhm,
right? Um, seeing them push their dreams is obviously gonna make me push my dreams, right?
mhm.
But in the sense of like I start thinking in my head like I need more friends that do what I do.
Right.
I need to be around more of that. Like I love you guys, but I feel partly not like in a box, but kind of like a lot of it is like I'm in like a see through like glass case,
Mhm,
and I'm seeing like a lot of these content creators or people who do photography or videography, even MJG, like like they have so many connections with people and they know
mhm,
people and they're friends with people who do the same things that they do.
mhm,
So it's easy not to say like you know it's easier for them to do what they like to do or like they wouldn't do it without friends, but I do think it's a helpful hand in like keeping you there, like
mhm.
keeping your mindset on what you're doing.
Oh, I agree. I don't have a friend group like that. I've been wanting one for a while that I keep telling myself, "Hey, maybe you should go to like seminars and go to public places where like um creators hang out just to by the sheer form of osmosis, like see what they do, how they behave, how they act.
Yeah.
Can you become friends with anybody, any of them?" Um just this year, like when I first started book talk and things like that, I never really interacted with anybody online. Only this year
Mhm.
when I came back, I started like messaging people on book talk and commenting on people's videos and then DMing them and then getting in people's lives, trying to build some sort of circle or just like a group of people that I was like, these are the people that I go to for this kind of thing or that I get motivation from. That has helped. And to your point, like, yeah, I would, I one of the main reasons for me to want to move back to Dallas is to be around you guys again. And by you guys, I mean the guys who are working on stuff you want to do,
Yeah.
right? Like, I think that would give me the opportunity to do the same thing. Like, I'd have the opportunity to hit you up, be like, "Yo, can we make something?"
Yeah.
Talk to MDG, "Can we make something?" Talk to Major, "Can we?" Major needs to return my fucking phone DMs. I swear to God. Um, but we hit up Major. Can we make something? Right? Like, um, because that would be really fun.
Yeah.
Man, I was fuck. I was there's these like group of like this like friend group of black guys on TikTok who make like just lifting videos, but it's just like also they just put the camera on and they just start talking, and then you just see clips of all the banter and stuff that they say in between their sets or during sets and things like that. And I'm like, I literally put on my story yesterday. I was like, if I had a friend group like this, I'm pretty sure my mental would be 10 times better than it is now.
Yeah.
Cause like I have nobody to go work out with, nobody to go have fun with, besides my wife, but like nobody to go do things with right now
Hmm.
here. Um, everybody's fucking over there. Uh, but I think about that often is I just don't have a group. I feel like maybe there is one and I'm just not seeing it. Maybe I'm blind to it, but I don't feel like I have a group that is where our goals are aligned.
Yeah.
Oh my god, MJG just messaged me.
Oh, perfect.
Perfect timing. But yeah, I want to wrap us up with something that I ask every guest on here when they come on here. We've talked a lot today. If for anybody listening today, if there's one piece of advice you have to give them, what would that one advice be?
What would that one advice be?
Yeah.
Probably more of a saying from Maya Angelou, if I'm saying it correctly. Yeah. Is it Maya Angelou?
Could be
I think.
I don't know.
But I have it written over there on my whiteboard, and this is the one piece of advice that has kept me going because we are all humans, and there is really no guidebook to every day in life, right?
Mhm.
So the quote and or advice that I have for everybody is even when do the best you can until you know better. Just keep pushing until you know better, and then when you know better, be better and do
Mhm.
better, right? Because again, there is no guidebook to this life. There's no
Mhm.
guidebook to how should you live your life because
Mhm.
everyone's different. So really, like just keep pushing, just keep going, and then when you figure out, because you're gonna eventually figure out what works for you and what doesn't. You
Mhm.
know what's right for me and what isn't. You know what should I eat and what I shouldn't eat.
Mhm.
Like once you get to that point, like tell yourself like, okay, now's the time to be better. Be
Mhm.
Let that be the trigger to start you being like a better person, either a better coworker, a better mom, a better dad, a better
Mhm.
like a better friend. Just keep pushing until you know better,
Yeah.
and when you know better, do better.
Lovely. I love that. Corey, where can people find you if they want to keep up with what you're doing online?
You can find me at Jacory underscore is it two underscores Barnett 42 on my Instagram or my photography page, which I am revamping and moving around, but it is called JBM Media, just Bizarre Media to be more specific.
Interesting.
You could find me there, and yeah, more things coming up in 2026, and you'll be able to see the updates on there.
Amazing. Corey, thank you so much for joining me on the Young Gold podcast.
Oh,
I appreciate having you and getting a chance to talk to you today.
thank you for having me. I was stressing so much when you told me like we gotta do it. And I was just like, crap, man. I hope I don't sound young and dumb.
No, you know why I wanted to talk to you though is because you are one of the younger people in like the circle, and so I appreciate your um perspective, right? As we have people all the way up to Siler's age and then all the way down to your age or younger. And so me where I am, I have my perspective. I've talked to Gifted, Canvas, Major, Andy, all those guys my age and older, but I haven't really talked to like folks younger than me
Yeah,
and their perspective. And you're not even that much younger than me, but I still think the time plays a different perspective. Um,
for sure,
so I appreciated you sharing that with us, with me today, and I appreciated the conversation for sure.
for sure. Thank you so much.
Awesome. All right, we'll see you guys next week.
He's a dad.
I knew it. I knew you were gonna say that. I was waiting. I was trying to drag it on to see when you would say that.
And that's the end goal